So, spiritual maturity is what's required. In Psalm 37:37, mark the perfect man, behold the upright, for the end of that man is peace. Well, where do you get perfect men from? David couldn't find perfect men. He found a whole lot of misfits in the cave of Adullam. Yeshua didn't start with perfect men. What's the recipe for making perfect men? Well, the word for perfect in Hebrew is tam, tav, mem. You reverse that and it's the word met, and you put a vav in it, mavet or mut, dead. The children of Israel were made perfect in the wilderness. The same word was used for when they were consumed in the wilderness. The wilderness killed them off and it made them perfect, because the old generation that didn't know the Lord died off and the new generation came to know the Lord and His works. They were led by His Spirit. They were led by the pillar of cloud and pillar of fire. So we're in the wilderness called this world, and God starts with us and we're very imperfect. And God, through the process of time, wears us down so that we begin to listen to our Father. He's making us perfect. Tam. He's making us perfect by bringing us to an end of ourselves. So, mark the perfect man, the end of that man is peace. Shalom. He's on the battlefield, but there's peace right there. He has the sword in his hand, but there's peace. Why? Because it's completed. It's finished. It's over. Who lives and who dies is already decided. My victory comes from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will empower me in the day of battle. He will enable me in the dark and cloudy day. And if I can't bear the sword, He will enable me, whoever I am, because His favour is upon me, and I'm living in that shalom, that place of rest. In the centre of the storm, there's peace. In the centre of that tornado, in the centre of God's will. So the children of Israel had to learn that they're not in control. Their ego had to be brought down so that they could be spiritually led. And that's the task for all of us, is to come to an end of ourselves. So that's what we need in the camp, is that spiritual maturity when we know that Yah is with us. And David spoke about that. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He leads me. And he led him into green, lush valleys. He led him into the valley of the shadow of death. But Yahweh was with him. He prepared a table before him in the presence of his enemies. But there was shalom right there. David had already conquered. Everything else was just a matter of time, because he knew his daddy. He was a man after God's own heart. So the things that are coming towards us are nothing to fear. There's something just to be aware of. This is going to be an adventure where we're not in control. An adventure where Yah is in control. The New World Order is not in control. They're just trying to ride a storm. They're trying to ride a wave that's coming that they can't do anything about. And they're going to try and kill some of us. And they're not going to succeed if we're actually listening to the Lord. Some people may have martyrs' crowns and that's their destiny, but the bulk of the children of Israel that are listening to the Lord are actually something precious to Yah that He wants to save. He wants to bring the wheat and bring it into His barn. He wants to take it home. In Psalm 119, 165, great shalom have they which love Thy Torah, and nothing shall offend them, not even what Barack Obama's doing. Great shalom. So all of my Torah knowledge, sometimes it falls out the window when I'm sitting in a situation, but it's that heart knowledge that doesn't go away. That knowledge of Him, the knowledge of Yah, himself. He will keep him in perfect peace whose eyes are trained on him, on him, on him. We don't look to the waves, we look to the Lord, and we're not sinking. It's like Peter. We can walk on the water like Yeshua did. The circumstances cannot phase us because our eye is single. He will keep him in, it says, if your eye be single, your whole body is full of light. On the top of the ark was the Zohar window that looked up to heaven all the time, and the whole body of the ark was filled with light, and it rose upon the waters. The very things that were bringing destruction upon that land brought salvation to the remnant of his people, whose eyes were trained upon him, who had learned to listen to the Father. So let's read on from the New Testament now. 1 Corinthians 3, 1-3. And I, brethren, could not speak unto you as spiritual, but as unto carnal, even as unto babes in Mashiach. I had fed you with milk and not with meat, for hitherto ye were not able to bear it, neither yet now are able. For ye are yet carnal, for whereas there is among you envyings and strife and divisions, are ye not carnal and walk as men? There's a lot of that amongst Messianics. And what do I want to reach out to Christians and say, be like us, and you too can argue and cut each other down? So I'm not saying that to make people miserable. I believe there's a great deal of hope, and Christians need to understand some of the things we understand. But we're a long way from perfect. We're very much like the Corinthians. And not all of us, I believe there's many people that aren't. But there's a lot of this going on, envyings and strives and divisions. And we need the grace of God, because although God's brought us into some knowledge, we're cutting each other down by it. And we're carnal. We're told that in Scripture. We're carnal. Now look, I may disagree with my brother on some things, but I can still love him. That's the difference. Disagree and love. You know. There are some things that we're just hair splitting. Even the Sabbath and so forth. There's some guys that think it's this day and not that day. Look, I'm willing to cut them some slack. We'll work it out. We'll work it out. 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 5. Likewise, ye younger, submit yourselves unto the elder. Yea, all of you be subject to one another, and be clothed with humility. For God resisteth the proud, and giveth grace to the humble. So that's how we're going to get through. By loving one another. Because God resisteth the proud, but gives grace to the humble. So the reason that the Lord is bringing the wrecking ball on the Western world is because the Western world's departed God. If we've got little pockets of groups of people that are loving each other, there's something worth saving. And God will say to the New World Order, I'm not going to let you in. And they're going to say, well, we're going to huff and puff and we're going to blow your house in. And God's going to say, listen, this house is protected and it ain't made of straw. These people are my people. And I love them. So there's great hope. But it's a hope amidst some pretty big things.